What's up, YouTube? My name is Mistic, and welcome to Mistic Reacts. Today you're watching Casual Geographic. Why these sharks completely destroy the stereotype. I don't know what the stereotype is, but I can't wait to see how they destroy it. This is streamed live on Twitch and YouTube, so if you want to see this live, check me out and follow, subscribe. Yeah. Shark.
To be
What is
fair,
that
I'd pump
medieval
fake the higher
music?
power and anticipate being devoured if I ever saw that in the water with me, let alone in Long Island, at least if I
Long
didn't know what it
Island.
was. So here's some thresher shark propaganda, because there's honestly nothing to fear. And I mean that more for him than you. This shark needs a lot more reassurance than you do. The thresher shark has been out here threshing for over 50 million years, and they spent
Cute.
all of it looking like they really need an adult. Search of social anxiety with gills, you will get a literal baby shark. They're physically designed to be passive.
Cute.
Thresher sharks can't throw hands, because they don't have any. But if they did, they just twiddle their thumbs behind their back. They look like their entire existence is a jump scare. It's because the big eyes help when grocery shopping where the sun barely shines part-time. They have the same tapetum lucidum layer that cats have, which reflects light back into the retina and gives sharks night vision. Perfect for snatching prey out the dark like the Reaper. The big eye thresher took that trait and pushed the slider all the way to the edge. Because yeah, there's actually 3 species of shark under the thresher shark umbrella. The common thresher, the pelagic thresher, and the big eye.
Their tail is so
which
long.
is a baby Looney Tunes version of the concept, with eyes rotated and angled toward the top of the head so the big eye can see directly above it. Those eyes are a cheat code when playing hide and seek with the things they eat. They're also the caricature of every bystander at Target watching someone's child throw a tantrum. Silent judgment, but crippling in action. And even though the eyes are involved with hunting, the tsundere shark is still pretty introvert coded. Threshers are as shy as their headshot would suggest, and there's no verified record of one attacking a human. With how timid they are much more afraid of you and will go out of their way not to be perceived, and will even exhibit vertical migrations, where they spend the day posted down in the cold dark abyss only to come up to the surface at night to feed. Hence the enemy eyes, especially for a big eye thresher, which is by far the most suited for life in an everyday bird box challenge. They even have a built-in heat system where the big eye has a network of blood vessels called the rete mirabile, I hope I pronounced that right, which circulates heat to the brain and eyes, and this system allows the thresher to thresh in water colder than a yeti in a brass bra without having the metabolism of molasses like the Greenland shark. They wait 150 years to get laid. Nothing about them is fast. In fact, they might as well be the opposite. Where threshers have big eyes for sight, Greenland sharks get blinded by a parasite. And where Greenland sharks are often found where there's polar bears around, threshers can be found in waters worldwide, like under the Atlantic Beach Bridge. But most importantly, where Greenland stomachs have been found with seals, polar bears, and allegedly a human leg, a thresher shark is almost physically incapable of biting you. Their eyes are so big it somehow distracts you from the fact that they have a tiny mouth and some baby-ass teeth too. It's like they were built to be non-confrontational, with teeth that can
If I
only
was a
really
shark,
small fish
I would be this
swim,
shark.
a mini mouth to go with social anxiety, with a mama I true up face. Now a shark is a shark, and nature didn't cook for longer than Saturn's had rings just to make a shark that couldn't defend itself. But it isn't the teeth. It's the 50 Shades of Grey cosplay a normal person would call a tail. That tail is a lot longer than you think, and it's for slapping the absolute daylights out of prey with a nearly 10-foot whip. That tail hits harder than the job market for a comp sci major, and one hit can incapacitate multiple fish.
I know a
And
comp
once
sci
again,
major.
that tail is a lot longer than you think and can slice prey clean in half. Threshers slap prey so fast, it boils the water around them and creates cavitation bubbles. Cavitation bubbles are small pockets of pure chaos that are thousands of degrees and release incredibly destructive energy when popped. It's the same science the pistol shrimp uses to knock prey straight off the mortal plane, and these bubble nukes mean thresher sharks don't need a direct hit to life deprive multiple fish. The process is pretty insane to witness. Scientists studying them say it's one flick of a tail followed by a mess of ruptured swim bladders and broken spines, which the thresher shark immediately eats. Don't let the kawaii gubby distract you from the fact that if you're a fish, the thresher can demote you to flesh confetti in 2
Good thing I'm not a
frames.
fish.
But the thresher can
My
also
bad.
package 12 years of prejudice on a person with one hit. There are legends of fishermen messing with a thresher until it swung its tail and took one of their heads off. Now, do I
Well,
believe
if they're
a grown
messing
man
with
genuinely
it-
got his shit smacked smooth off? Not really, but the same power slap Pokemon that's eternal night quill to fish and even some birds. Like yeah, they will bird strike Tweety right out the air. They'll easily knock your teeth out and probably break your neck. But again, there isn't really a record of a thresher shark attacking a person, and if there is, you definitely did something. If you make a shark that looks like a kid caught with a DS under the pillow at 2 a.m. choosing violence, you ask for it in everything but writing. He's just a shy shark, but he's not the shy That's a shy shark. Haplobepharus edwardsii is a type of cat shark, also called a happy eddy. The Haplobepharus genus has 3 other species: the plain happy or the brown shy shark, the pretty happy or the dark
Are those the kind that are at aquariums? Because I know I've pet like those small sharks. Is it these kind or a different
Shark
kind
shy shark, and the natal
that are
shy
in
shark,
like pet
or Happy Chappy. And the
touch
Happy
tank
Eddie's more
things?
common name is the puff adder shy shark,
So
named
I've
puff
pet
adder due to
sharks
sharing the venomous serpent's skin pattern.
and
But it's also been called the donut because their
those
personality is the polar
flat
opposite.
things
When the
with
puff adder shy shark gets scared, it'll
tail.
curl itself into a ring and cover its eyes with its tail. That way it protects its vital organs
I
and
think
makes
I've
the
pet
shark
one of
harder to
these.
swallow. It also makes them virtually invisible off the fact that if they can't see you, surely you can't see them. Or they'll just play dead and pray that whatever triggered it loses interest. To be fair, it's not for no reason. Happy Eddie is a crazy name for a shark that gets bullied by everything.
Aw.
Bigger sharks like seven gills will prey on them, and fur seals have been seen using shy sharks as chew toys. Worst part is, a lot of times the fur seal play session only gets interrupted when a kelp gull steals a shark just to eat itself. The shy shark basically gets passed around like a baton at the Oppression Olympics. Scientists studied the sharks in False Bay, and if they didn't get their heads ripped off by a fur seal, or swallowed whole by an avian antichrist, they just end up discarded as a lifeless corpse back into the sea. They also get murked by fishers, who tend to see them as a pest, which is why the puff adder shy shark isn't just shy, it's endangered and only found in waters off South Africa. And to be honest, he should be shy and scared, but not nervous, because we already have one of those. I feel bad for the nervous shark. Even its Latin name couldn't resist throwing astray.
Cautious
The
shark.
shark essentially gets called a punk in multiple languages. There's nearly 200 species of shark that can be found in Australia, and the nervous shark seems to be the only one who knows it, as they're incredibly shy and timid. Nervous sharks are notoriously difficult to get on camera, because most won't let you get close enough to try, which means this is one of the few times where the prey is infinitely scarier than the predator, as nervous sharks have been known to eat venomous sea snakes. That same shark requires the mannequin challenge just to be perceived, because any small movement or even the click from a camera sends them swimming off into the abyss. It's actually not uncommon to see them in a group, or a shiver as it's called, but let one lay an eye on you and the whole shoal will go ocean incognito. And with all they do to social distance from us, it makes sense that almost every picture of them taken was against their will. So imagine what it's like to be a blue shark. Blue sharks look like they were told a dirty joke years ago and are still shocked as hell at the punchline.
Shiver
Like
me
the thresher, blue
timbers.
sharks have big eyes to help with hunting and clocking prey in the dark, since the predatory pinhead does most of his work at night.
Who you
And like
calling
many
a
sharks,
pinhead?
blues
Pinhead.
use counter shading, meaning if you're looking at them from above, the blue roof blends in with the blue from the abyss. But if you're below them, the white underbelly disappears in the light from the sky. But it's possible the color-coded camouflage is for hiding from more than just prey. In 2012, dive operator Chris Follows was leading a group a little off Cape Town as usual, with a group of 10 blue sharks pulling up on the bait Chris had set. Chris was a 20-year dive veteran at this point, so this wasn't new to him, or at least it wasn't until a big male fur seal spawned in and tore one of the sharks in half and started feeding on its abdomen. He then eviscerated another shark, and for dessert, he bisected a third. The seal savaged 5 sharks in a row until Chris eventually shoved off, but it's likely the seal clutched a 1v10 with very little effort.
Damn.
Insane as that was, if Chris had a nickel for every time he watched a shark get murked by a seal, he'd have 2 nickels. Cause in 2004, he watched the first seal chase down a blue shark, toss it into the air, just to disembowel it and eat his stomach and liver.
Damn.
So forgive a predatory Poindexter if he looks like he's
Oh,
constantly afraid of getting his lunch money taken. It's actually one of the reasons blue sharks aren't super common in
Thank you
aquariums.
for the
They're not
bottle.
super hard to feed in house,
Hello.
but they often get bullied by tank mates like bull, gray reef, sandbar, and sand tiger sharks.
Mm.
And by bullied, I mean the blue sharks got eaten alive in front of a live viewing audience as soon as it got introduced to another species. That, and they have the habit of brushing against tank walls until they rub their skin raw and die of an infection. Who would have thought that a shark that can travel thousands of miles in a year essentially self-destructs in a fishbowl? But they're not as neurotic as a nervous shark, and they've been nicknamed blue dogs for apparently having
Blue
the personality
dog.
of a puppy. The same fish that would get shoved into a locker at shark school is inquisitive and will investigate human divers, where they'll bump you and prod you, but not like in a predatory, intimidating way, but the way a toddler might try to get your attention while you're on the phone. Now, I don't want to do the whole sea puppy thing because a blue shark will bite the goodwill out of you, but mostly in the same way a squirrel bit me as a kid, mostly by accident and largely by my own actions. In their defense,
How does
there
a
have been
squirrel
13
bite you?
reported blue shark bites on humans in history, with 4 deaths. On the other side, the blue shark is the most heavily fished shark, with up to
I'm
over
good,
80% of the sharks dying as bycatch being blue sharks, meaning millions of these sharks get murked by people a year, and most of them are just a casualty. Clearly, the blue shark can't catch a break, which might be why they have to personally screen any human in their area. But if you're looking to get in the water with sharks for the first time, you can't really go wrong with a pretty blue. And not just because they're as close to harmless as a torpedo with teeth can get, because you're almost guaranteed to get a picture like this, or this, Maybe even this. Or my, oh my.
What the fuck
days,
is that?
What am I looking at? Who in the fuck? Oh, that's George. The Port Jackson shark is named after Port Jackson in Sydney Harbor. And that was named after Sir George Jackson. The Port Jackson shark is a harmless cinnamon roll of a predator, unless you're looking at it from the front.
They don't look harmless.
Because their dorsal spines are believed to be venomous. Though if you have the heart to step on the shark, you deserve the consequences. Especially because there's not really a case of a Port Jackson attacking a human. And I say not really because of what went down in 2011, which wasn't really an attack more than the Port Jackson clamping its mouth around a Victoria man's leg. But it wasn't hard enough to draw blood, and the man was still able to swim away with the shark attached. So it was more like the shark version of an ankle bite, I mean a child hugging your leg. That is the closest a literal cuttlefish gets to violence. They don't even bite in the traditional sense. PJ sharks have smaller, pointed teeth in the front for things like small fish, and flatter teeth in the back to crush mollusks. And you can actually
I don't want to look at
shark based on the type of teeth you find more of in their mouth. They also have some of the weirdest eggs I've ever seen. I know that kind of came out of nowhere, but I didn't know how to transition to the topic.
Good to know. Good to know.
It looks like a screw, that's exactly what
rodents.
They'll screw the egg into rocks, coral, or any crevice so it doesn't get dislodged later. Unfortunately, that doesn't stop other fish or even other Port Jacksons from uncovering the eggs and slurping the egg yolk out like an amniotic go-gurt. But the main reason I'm bringing George up is because they're so cute it actually makes me angry. I guess that's just cuteness aggression.
I wouldn't say cute's the word.
Now again, I don't want to push the sea puppy thing because I believe that could be just as bad for sharks as demonizing them. But the PJ makes that real difficult with the fact that they can form genuine bonds with people. Rick Anderson is an Australian diving instructor who's been in a nearly decade-long relationship with a shark. Rick met her as a 6-inch freshly hatched Port Jackson pup while leading a diving class. According to him, he just wanted to show his students how friendly the sharks could be and coaxed one of them onto his hand so he could give her a pet. In return, the shark showed Rick just how committed a she shark can be, as she'd be attached to him ever since. Even as a 6-foot adult, she'd actively ignore and swim past other divers just to get her cuddle time with Rick. And no, he never fed her, he never even gave her a name yet, like a homing pigeon. If he was in the water, she'd find him. A beautiful story. For a shark so adorable, you could just take one and put it in your pocket if they didn't grow to the size of an NBA point guard. Luckily, there's a shark for exactly that, and you'll never guess its name.
What?
The pocket shark was found completely by accident. It was during a Gulf of Mexico
expedition
to
shark?
study sperm whales that scientists found a shark that honestly looks like a whale nature shrunk as a pet. The name comes from the fact that you could honestly smuggle one in your pocket, but also for the small pockets these sharks have under their gills, which are filled with bioluminescent fluids. It's believed that this imitation whale squirts glow-in-the-dark ink as a distraction against predators. I say believed because we can only assume off of the 2 specimens that have ever been caught. What's not a theory is that this baby-faced bioluminescent flashlight has invariably increased my will to live. Although you could say that about any shark here.
How is it
on top
not
of that, that's gonna do it
closer to a whale?
I'm going to humbly beg you not to use this video as an excuse to cuddle up to a shark. Not only could that be remarkably bad for your health, but treating a whole predator like a sea puppy might be just as bad as seeing every shark as another installment of Jaws. You can love them, hate them, I'd rather you love them, but damn it, you're gonna respect them. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, do not hug a shark, please. Touch grass, call your father. Thank you all for another great year, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
Yeah. Moral of the story, do not mess with animals. Shark.